With profound, humble gratitude and love to all venerated enlightened masters, we bow to the Almighty in soulful gratefulness for gifting us with their holy, blessed presence. May all beings be awakened by their divine grace. Etc.
He loves puzzles a lot. When I come out with a puzzle, I can see he gets really nervous and he can't wait to start. Then he comes to my terrace every day. As soon as I come outside, he appears within a few seconds. The most impressive thing about him are his eyes. When he comes very close, there is such a big personality.
Upon hearing the beggar mention Yalong Monastery and Lama Shakya Kilsan, a surge of profound faith ignited within Nangsa, and tears welled up in her eyes. The life of Nangsa Obum, a Tibetan spiritual journey. Continue watching to find out more.
Vegan side effect, so much more mental clarity.
When meeting up with your Monpa friends, you may hear Tashi Delek, a Tibetan greeting which can be translated to blessings and good luck. Beloved viewers, I am Shodrak. The sincere Monpa people of northeastern India, southeastern Tibet, and eastern Bhutan thank heaven for rewarding your compassion towards all beings.
No. Push. Ooh. Push now, quick. That's it.
Welcome to The Life of Nangsa Obum, a Tibetan spiritual journey.
My beautiful face, the enemy of dharma practice, Nangsa Obum.
The life of Nangsa Obum exemplified hardship and her courage and unceasing efforts in pursuing the Dharma, leading a life devoted to self-liberation and helping others, made her a legend of her time. Nangsa Obum's life story was transformed into an operatic narrative by the verses of early minstrels in Tibet who sang her tale while journeying from place to place. Born to a wealthy Tibetan family, Nangsa Obum lived in the village of Zangpi Gurnampa in Gyantse, west of Lhasa, in the 11th or 12th century. Her parents, Kunzang Deshen and Nangsa Saldon, led a simple and contented life. Though they had accumulated wealth with years of hard work, they were nevertheless childless. Feeling helpless, they prayed day and night to the Bodhisattva Tara, vegan, for a child. Not long after reciting a prayer to the Bodhisattva 100,000 times for heavenly blessings, one night Nangsa Saldon had an amazing dream of a lotus sprouting in her body, and a celestial maiden, or Dakini, appeared, making an offering to this lotus. Bees from all directions gathered to enjoy the nectar of the lotus. Soon after, the prayer was answered with the birth of a beautiful baby girl. According to legend, the baby paid homage to the Bodhisattva Tara when she first sipped her mother's milk. They named her Nangsa Obum, which means one given to earth whose radiance would liberate 100,000 sentient beings. Despite the traditional preference for male children, her parents described her as a daughter better than 1,000 sons. Nangsa Obum had a happy childhood under the loving care of her parents and grew up possessing the qualities of strength, health, gentleness, intelligence, and beauty. By age 15, she was overwhelmed with suitors, but she preferred to study the Dharma because she understood worldly pleasures are impermanent. At that time, King Drashen of Renang wanted a wife for his son. Prince Drakpasamdrup. When he spotted Nangsa at the annual Nenying Sungtuk festival, he was instantly mesmerized by her grace and beauty. Against her will, the king chose her to be his son's bride. Fearful of the king's power, her parents obliged and sent her to Renam to be married to Prince Drakpasamdrup. After 7 years of marriage, she gave birth to a son named Lau Darpo.
The animal people not fear you in the park?
Uh-oh.
You can fly. You just need to rest a little bit.
Of course not. You are vegan now.
The king and his son loved Nangsa so much and praised her virtues. To show their love, they gave Nangsa the key to the royal storehouse. This privilege had previously rested with the king's daughter, Princess Ani Niemo, before the transfer. As a result, Princess Ani grew extremely jealous of Nangsa and took every opportunity to discredit her. One day, when Nangsa was working with others in the field, 2 yogis appeared and asked for alms. The 2 yoga practitioners taught Nangsa the impermanence of all conditioned things and encouraged her to use human life to do something meaningful. With devotion and compassion, Nangsa gave them some of the harvest. Grateful for her generosity, the yogis shared that they hailed from Mount Kailash and were disciples of the venerated Master Milarepa, vegetarian. It's said one of them was Richungpa, vegetarian. On seeing this, Princess Ani flew into a rage, beat Nangsa furiously, and complained to her brother about the incident. Ani untruthfully claimed Nangsa had beaten her because the princess had intervened when 2 charismatic yogis arrived, and Nangsa set aside her work to engage with them. She hinted at a potential breach of fidelity. Convinced by his sister's influence, Nangsa's husband beat his wife. In the Sera Gyalung monastery, Lama Shakya Gyaltsen, endowed with clairvoyance, foresaw Nangsa's future and recognized her potential to bring great benefit to all sentient beings. He transformed into a beggar accompanied by a dancing monkey person and appeared before her. He sang a song about the futility of squandering one's precious human life in worldly pursuits and implored Nangsa for alms. Riveted by the Lama's teaching, Nangsa brought them into the house and donated her own piece of jewelry. Upon hearing the beggar mention Gyalung Monastery and Lama Shakya Gyaltsen, a surge of profound faith ignited within Nangsa and tears welled up in her eyes. Her husband noticed this, and Princess Ani took the opportunity to mislead her brother and their father, King Drashen, by wrongfully accusing Nangsa of being unfaithful towards the family. In a rage, they tortured Nangsa, who was overcome with pain from the beating and finally passed away. Legend has it that in death, she traveled to the underworld and met the worshipped Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara, vegetarian, in his form as the Lord of the Dead. As he browsed through the karma record, he found Nangsa virtuous and sent her back to the living world to be a revenant, or one who has returned from the dead, and aid others in virtuous conduct.
Vegan, let's all be real humans.
Sincere viewers, let's reflect on the Buddha nature within our hearts. We'll be right back here on Supreme Master Television.
Here's Red, my beautiful smelly boy.
When I'd give him his bottles, he would always hold my fingers. He'd flip on with his little paws.
Once he'd finished his bottle, he'd lay back and he'd put his little face on my neck. He was very cuddly, very loving, up until he was not. You can see Mitchell's like, okay, I'm an adult now. I want to be free, I want to be wild. It just showed he's perfectly ready to be released. I had a few things that had smells from home that I placed around. I thought he's funny. As an introduction into, hey, this is yours. He's got a little camera set up on his burrow. I can see that he is living the best wildlife.
My big wild boy, yes. My big beautiful wild boy.
Welcome back to The Life of Nangsa Obum, a Tibetan spiritual journey. Nangsa revived, seated in contemplation, adorned in a white shroud within a mountainside cave. She offered prayers to the Buddhas and the assembly of Dakinis while unveiling a splendid rainbow in the sky. Nangsa attaining the status of a Dalog, which means people who have died and then returned to life to teach the living how to live their lives. Although she wanted to pursue a spiritual existence after her return to life, her worldly duty towards her young son prevailed upon her to return to the palace. However, her husband noticed her unhappiness. Nangsa replied,
I am not unhappy because I lack good food, pretty clothes, or fame in this life. I am not troubled by some illness or disturbance. It is not only that you do not follow the dharma, but that you do not let me do so either. For this reason, I am dejected. Beautiful chambers, no matter how heavenly, cannot please me. Good food, even if it tastes like nectar, cannot satisfy me. Neither could my family delight me, even were they divine children. Therefore, allow me to follow the dharma.
With her husband's consent, Nangsa returned to her parents' home with her son. Having heard of Nangsa's miraculous return from the dead, many friends and neighbors came to visit her at her parents' house. She took the opportunity to teach them about impermanence, karma, and suffering. Unfortunately, her efforts did not bear fruit and instead angered her parents, who threw her out of the house. The incident strengthened Nangsa's will to renounce the worldly life and dedicate herself to the learning of the Dharma. She started searching for a master. She set out for Sera Gyaltsung to look for the hermitage of Lama Shakya Gyaltsen. Though the Lama's disciples turned her away many times, her persistence and sincerity finally won the acceptance of the Lama as his disciple. The Lama initiated Nangsa into the tantric path and transmitted to her detailed instructions on meditation. She studied the Dharma earnestly, practiced meditation, and became accomplished in self-realization within a short period, becoming a great yogini.
The most powerful daily prayer for any time and before meditation, which is the order from God, and Supreme Master CHINGHAI shares with us by His blessed grace.
We humbly worship, praise, thank, obey, and love God Almighty, the Most High, the greatest, for world vegan, world peace, and our soul liberation. We thank, love, praise the only Son of God, who is the ultimate Master for our salvation. We follow the teaching of all the saints and sages. We thank, love, and praise them, who are the representatives of God for our spiritual elevation.
When the king of Renang and Prince Drakpasamdrup learned of Nangsa's discipleship, they launched a furious attack on the monastery. Legend has it that Lama Shakya Gyaltsen appeared with miraculous displays to move mountains, heal wounded monks, and restore life to slain disciples. At the same time, Nangsa transformed her woven scarf into wings of liberation and soared above the king, his son, and the army. These miraculous displays left them dumbfounded, and they halted the attack. All of them, including Princess Ani Niemo, repented deeply for their wrongdoings and decided to devote themselves to the Dharma. They all bowed to the master, and Nangsa Obum, recognizing her as an emanation of the goddess Dorje Phagmo Vajravarahi. The scarf became a symbol of personal freedom and a sign of compassion for the well-being of others. Nangsa Obum's son, Lau Darpo, became the king of Renang after his father and grandfather embraced Buddhism, leading a life devoted to spiritual pursuits guided by the teachings of Nangsa and her master. After Nangsa Obum's passing, she left imprints in her meditation cave in the mountains, which devotees worship to this day. Her life story illustrates some of the obstacles women must overcome on their path to salvation. Nangsa was one of the most famous death returners and became a popular folk heroine. Her inspirational life story was adopted for one of the most well-known Tibetan operas and is continuously performed today, inspiring women and truth seekers to follow their unique spiritual path to liberation, whatever the obstacles.
The benefits to health of a vegan diet are far, far less cancer. Some cancers aren't much affected, but most cancers are almost unknown in vegetarians and vegans. Heart health is vastly better, as well as diabetes is almost unknown amongst vegetarians and vegans. The Reverend Father John Ryder, vegan.
Enlightened viewers, thank you for your company today. Coming up next is The 3 Types of Masters, Part 5 of 5, on Between Master and Disciples, here on Supreme Master Television. May we always be guided by divine truth.
Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds, hell not reach.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/ls.
ਸਾਡੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਪੇਸ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ ਅਨੇਕ ਭਾਸ਼ਾਵਾਂ। ਕਿਰਪਾ ਦੇਖੋ suprememastertv.com/schedule ਅਤੇ suprememastertv.com/ls.
Also, be sure to follow us on our socials: YouTube, Facebook, Getter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Nico, Pinterest, Reddit, Substack, Telegram, Threads, TikTok, Truth Social, Tumblr, VK, and X, previously known as Twitter, in multiple languages by searching Supreme Master TV.